Good morning, everyone. My name is rogelio.deleon. I am the Community Relations Representative for Amerigroup, Texas. For those who are not familiar with Amerigroup, we're a Medicaid managed care organization. So we welcome you to our second annual Diversify Austin Job and Resource Fair. Thank you for your attendance in promoting Disability Awareness Month during the month of October. First of all, I would like to thank the Center for Disability Studies at the University of Texas at Austin for this collaboration. They're a true partner of Amerigroup. So here at Amerigroup, we promote independence and self-determination in all things we do. So we have a jam-packed hour. So a few housekeeping items. We'll keep the chat box open. If we have time, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So we put together a program that offers important information as well as local employment opportunities. So at the end of this event, we'll send out our contact information if we didn't get to answer your question. So first, we'll have 4 10-minute slots. As you know, we have HHSC Marc Mullins to present on employment first initiatives, and then disability rights with Jonathan Delarosa. Then we'll have peak performers, Myles, Wallace, and then HEB's Elizabeth Kendell. So now I'll hand over the mic to Jigna Patel of the Center of the Disability Studies at the University of Texas at Austin.
Yes, thank you, Roger. Yeah, my name is Jigna Patel, and I work at the Texas Center for Disability Studies, or TCDS. Our interdisciplinary team at TCDS is composed of professionals at the university level specializing in assistive technology, family supports, health and wellness, transition, and other university programs. You can see more information about the resources and programs we offer at disabilitystudies.utexas.edu. And at the TCDS, I am the project coordinator for E4 Texas, which is an initiative designed for individuals with disabilities to have an immersive experience in college life alongside their peers while providing student tools and resources to live independently, gain important career skills and in the human industry service, and also to continue to push for inclusion in higher education, the community, and workplace. So our students refuse to give up. They're on campus now. They've become pros at Zoom and will soon be entering the world of work in this new employment landscape. So we're really looking forward to hearing about strategies being used in the workplace to keep adults safe during COVID, and also to make sure that inclusion and diversity initiatives are a priority during these times. So that is a tough feat, and I would love to introduce our first panelist. That would be Marc Mullins with Texas Health and Human Services Commission. Take it away, Marc.
Thank you to Amerigroup and UT Austin for inviting HHS to participate in this panel this morning. Again, I'm Marc Mullins. I work for IDD Behavioral Health Services at the Health and Human. Our special projects focus on employment initiatives and activities. This morning, I'm going to share with you some of our resources that are available for you on our website, and also some initiatives that we have underway within our unit. First of all, I wanted to point out that we do have an Employment First webpage that is available that we developed and maintain. It serves as a resource for individuals with disabilities seeking employment information, and as well as employers who are seeking to hire persons with disabilities. We monitor the page continuously for accessibility and accuracy of information, and we make updates and changes as needed. So most everything I'm going to cover with you this morning can be found on this web page at the web address that you see at the bottom of the slide. If you were to forget or lose access to the web address, easily get back to the Employment First pages by going to hhs.texas.gov and in the search bar typing in employment first, and it'll take you to the resources we're going to be talking about this morning. The first resource I wanted to mention may be one that people are familiar with. It's called the HHS Employment Guide for People with Disabilities. It's a pretty lengthy, comprehensive guide about getting involved in the job market. It's recently been updated and refreshed and republished. So if you haven't looked at it in a while, you'll see that it has been improved. Highlights from this guide include roles and responsibilities during each stage of a job search, strategies for overcoming transportation obstacles, and guidance for coordinating services with Texas Workforce Commission, vocational rehabilitation services, and more. So that's out there. Please check it out. Another more recent publication that we have put out is a smaller document. It's a brochure called Employment for People with Disabilities, What You Need to Know. It explains and defines employment first, describes the employment services offered through HHS services programs, and how going to work may affect your Social Security benefits and healthcare coverage. So that also is available through our website, if you'd like to take a look at that. You know, the new HCBS settings rules that are set to go into effect in March of 2022 are going to have a huge impact on the provision of day-hab services as we know them. The new rules require that all settings where HCBS Medicaid reimbursed services are provided are integrated into and support full access to the community. And this includes opportunities for people receiving HCBS services to seek competitive integrated employment and earn a competitive wage. So our most recent publication developed is a brochure called Becoming a Provider of Employment Services. And this document highlights the benefits to providers for offering employment services as an alternative, or at least as an addition to day habilitation services. So it's got some really good information. I encourage you to also check that out. Some of you may be aware that over the last couple of years, we have done a lot of training around the state on employment services and benefits. In 2018, we traveled to all 39 LIDAs and did a one-day training on employment services and benefits. And then last year in 2019, we did trainings for managed care organizations, similar training on the same topics. This year, our plan in 2020 was to go back out on the road and do training that was targeted specifically for the individuals who provide the direct services to folks that are trying to get into the job market. Of course, with COVID, our plans have all been scrapped, and we are now, instead of going out and doing live training, creating videos on all the topics that we would have presented on in person. So they'll probably be a little bit more in depth and actually better in some ways. The topics and the trainings include a module on employment first. There's a video on employment services in Texas and how to access them, along with a review of Social Security benefits. Completing a vocational assessment, how to do that and why that's important, and we offer you a sample one to use. Soft skills development and translating those skills into a job skill. Job coaching and the use of technology through apps and tablets. And finally, employer relationships. So look for those videos to all be available off of our webpage beginning in early 2021. In addition to those videos, we also have a series of web-based trainings related to employment services. There are 11 trainings in this training set that are being updated and revised as well. The topics include the very similar things I've mentioned previously, employment services that are available through HHS, community-based waiver programs and managed care organizations, employment first philosophy, what is that and kind of where it came from, services available through Texas Workforce Solutions, vocational rehabilitation services, and the interaction of VR and long-term services and supports, Social Security benefits and work incentives, and tips for direct service workers who are supporting an individual's effort to seek employment. We also have a new video, pardon me. We also have a new video that introduces you to, it's an employment video for participants and family members. It's about that. The video introduces you to 3 individuals with disabilities who are in the workforce and their families. The video illustrates how going to work helped these folks achieve independence with support from their families in the workforce. So that's a really cool video. It's about a 3-minute video, again, on our website. One of the initiatives that we have underway I wanted to mention is our electronic tablet employment transition pilot. This is the electronic tablet pilot is underway with 2 LIDAs who are serving as partners and host sites for this project. And the project focuses on using electronic tablets to assist with workplace environmental transitions and job coaching for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, as well as individuals receiving services for mental health challenges. The project uses electronic tablets, the application software that's currently available, and video to provide individuals with interactive technology that lessens their dependency on assistance and intervention from others in person. So we're talking about doing remote job coaching type things using these applications. So this is again, underway. We believe that the use of electronic technology will increase a person's control of their environment, thus leading to successful transitions in all settings. But again, the project's primary focus is on success of transition and job skill attainment in the workplace. And one final thing I wanted to share with you today is about our vocational soft skills training project that's underway. This is curriculum training that is available for LIDA regions and the waiver service providers. The training will provide needed curriculum and information from proven vocational apprenticeship programs. LIDA and provider staff will complete this training to obtain the tools necessary to provide a complete curriculum of skills to prepare individuals for success and independence in the community workplace. And curriculum topics in these modules include communication skills, critical thinking and problem solving, enthusiasm and attitude, keeping a job and networking, professionalism, teamwork, resume writing, conducting a job search, presentation skills, as well as interviewing skills. So those are some of the things that we have underway at HHS. I want to thank you this morning for your time and attention, and that concludes my remarks.
Thank you so much, Marc. Those are helpful resources. Next, we have Jonathan Delarosa with Disability Rights Texas.
Hello, everyone. My name's, again, Jonathan Delarosa, Disability Rights Texas. I hope you all are doing well and staying safe during this trying time. So I'm with the Protection Advocacy for Beneficiaries of Social Security, PABSS for short, program with Disability Rights Texas. And I'm going to give you a quick overview of some of the resources that those of you who are on SSI or SSDI, receiving disability benefits through Social Security, are able to take advantage of should you be interested in going to work. Next slide. So Ticket to Work program is founded under the Ticket to Work and Work Improvement Act that passed in 1999. And the goal of these services and supports that are provided by Social Security is to help people who are receiving disability benefits through Social Security obtain and retain employment. So it's a voluntary program. You don't have to participate in it. Even if you receive disability benefits, it's only if you are interested. But if you are, then it can help you get employment in all sorts of different various fields, whatever it is that you are interested in. The end goal of this is to help reduce a person's reliance on disability benefits. Though, again, the end goal is that you are self-sufficient. A lot of people who are receiving disability benefits don't receive a whole lot of money. So the end goal is to help improve your financial outlook, and Social Security offers a pretty great deal of different benefits for you to do that. Next slide. So one of the benefits of being under the Ticket to Work program is you don't have to go through a medical review as long as you are continuously making progress towards your employment goal. Some of the ways that Social Security funds these programs is that they'll pay employment networks. That's one of the programs, which I'll have a whole list of programs at the end to sort of explain what are the different ones you can take advantage of. And one of the other benefits of doing this is that you can take advantage of work incentives, which allow you to make even more money while still keeping your benefit. And let's say that you do not succeed in attempting to go to work for one reason or another, you can still keep your benefits without concern. Next slide. Okay, so if you're interested in starting this ticket process, you can call the Ticket to Work line at 1-866-968-7842. Your using your ticket is triggered by you looking for work or you seeking out services through vocational rehabilitation or an employment network. Part of what vocational rehab does is that they help you create an individualized work plan or an individualized plan for employment. It outlines what they will help you with and what you are doing to help increase your employment goals. One other thing that you should do too is, and when we get into work incentives a little bit, it'll make more sense. But what you should do is meet with a work incentives planning and assistance program prior to entering this agreement so that you know exactly how any income you earn will impact your benefits. All right, next slide. Okay, so work incentives. Work incentives are something that you as a person receiving disability benefits through Social Security of. And for SSI especially, and if you take nothing else from this presentation, I want you to take this home. If you receive SSI, you will always earn more money while working than not. And part of that is due to these work incentives. So just an example of a work incentive you can take advantage of. And this is for either program. Do you pay for medical bills that are related to your disability? Let's say you have to pay for a medication in order for you to work. You can actually report these expenses to Social Security, and they, depending on the expense, they will not count some or even all of the expense. If you receive SSI, and let's say you have to have your Medicaid, which many SSI recipients do, there's a program that'll help you keep your Medicaid while working, even if you work so much that you lose your entire SSI cash benefit. And on the next slide, you'll see a whole list of different incentives you can take advantage of. I won't go through all of these today, but this is just to sort of illustrate that there are a lot of things that you can take advantage of as a person receiving disability benefits through Social Security. So, you know, and if you are blind, especially, there are benefits on both programs that will help you maximize your benefit even more. Again, just as another example, under SSI, there's a whole list of blind work expenses that you are able to take advantage of. And these expenses are really wide varying. So let's say you have to pay for lunch in order at work, that can count as an expense. Some other things, if you are disabled prior to the age of 22 and receiving SSI, you could take advantage of the student earned income exclusion, which is a program that allows you to set aside some of your work earnings up to a certain amount, which doesn't count at all against your SSI. So again, there are a lot of different programs that you are able to take advantage of. Next slide. So I was talking about the Work Incentives Planning and Assistance Program earlier, and part of what they do is they help explain all of these things in depth, and they can go through the whole weeds with you and saying, all right, if you work this much, this is how much you'll be expected to get out of your disability check, and also here's some incentives you can take advantage of so that they can count even more, or so that you can keep even more of your money in your pocket. And especially now in this new work environment, there's a lot of investment in equipment that you have to have that making sure that you're able to keep as much of your income as possible is really important. So these services are free to anyone who's receiving SSI or has a disability benefit. If you do sign up for vocational rehab, some of these WIPA programs will actually put you at the front of the line. And I'll talk a little more about this in a bit, but you can find the programs that work for you by going to choosework.ssa.gov. You can also Google Choose Work, and it should be the first website you see. Next slide. So here's your whole employment team. This is the whole list of Ticket to Work, or this is the list of Ticket to Work providers that you are able to take advantage of. So employment networks on the left-hand side, they can help with a menagerie of resources for you to return to work. Let's say you're just trying to look for a job. There's an employment network for it. Let's say you have get off of benefits. There's even one that'll help provide a little bit of additional income if that's your goal. Workforce employment networks, sort of in the middle between employment and VR. Vocational rehab agencies, that's through Texas Workforce Solutions Vocational Rehabilitation Services here in the state. They are the ones that help with your individualized plan for employment. They can help pay for returning to school, vocational training, and a whole lot of other things. Work incentives planning and assistance, we've briefly talked about. And then there's us at the very end, protection and advocacy for beneficiaries of Social Security. Next slide. So PABSS, what we do is we help people who are interested in working or are working. We provide a little bit of basic information on how work impacts benefits. We don't go into the weeds as much as WIPA does. If you're wondering what happens if you get advanced or promoted on the job, we can answer some basic questions around that. You're trying to access services under the other Ticket to Work providers. We can help with that too. We can help provide information on employability. Some of the more important things we help with too are if you're being discriminated against in the workplace, we can help challenge that discrimination. So in the unfortunate event that happens, and unfortunately it does happen, that's something we can help with. And if you are working, but you have a disability that is impacting the ability for you to work and you need accommodations, we can help with that too. We can help draft accommodation letters so that you are able to get the reasonable accommodations you are due by law. Next slide. So for those of us who are interested in contacting us, you can reach us at 1-800-252-9108, or you can do an intake online at intake.drtx.org. If you utilize a video phone, our number is 866-362-2851. And if you're a current client, you can call us at 1-800-315-3876. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Jonathan. That is awesome. Very important information. So next on deck, we have Mr. Myles Wallace of Peak Performance, and he'll present on employment opportunities.
Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you very much, Roger. Thank you also for the really warm introduction. I'm here today to talk about Peak Performers. Peak Performers is a nonprofit staffing firm that's been operating in Texas for the last 26 years. We actually work under a large government set-aside program. So the state of Texas has a purchasing program that's specially designed to help people with disabilities find employment. And we really specialize in helping people find professional positions as well. So we've been here in Austin for about 26 years, and we have operations kind of across the state of Texas. And most of our work is done with government agencies. So for example, TxDOT, Department of Public Safety. We have a lot of folks working at General Land Office. We have some folks working over at Health and Human Services Commission. Any large government agency, we have people that are working on site. And to give you kind of an idea, we have a lot of people that are working in various different administrative positions, data entry, customer service, and those might be some good entry level points for people that might be joining the workforce for the first time or might be rejoining the workplace after they had to take some time off. But we also have a lot of people that we staff in purchasing, legal, accounting kinds of roles, all the way up to various different IT professionals as well, including enterprise architects. All the people that work for us are paid competitive wages and they are evaluated on a competitive basis. So although we give priority access to people with disabilities, whatever jobs that we have, they may be going up against one person who also has a disability for that same role, or they may be going up against 5 or 100 other people as well. So that's really kind of like what we do in a nutshell. Right now, over 3/4 of our workforce has a qualifying disability of some kind. And that could be something really visible and obvious. Say, for example, maybe I have paraplegia, or maybe perhaps I suffer from a visual disability. Or it could be something invisible about a person and not really kind of identifiable just by looking at them. So for example, it could be ADHD or dyslexia or PTSD or sleep apnea, or diabetes. It could be a whole host of any other kind of chronic medical conditions. And the way that works is that during the recruiting process, the recruiters are going to ask you if you have a qualifying condition of some kind. And if you are, then you kind of get put onto a special list, if you will, and are considered for jobs first. And to give you an idea of scope, currently we have about 460 people working across the state in over 60 different government agencies. Nearly all of our jobs are full-time, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We do offer health and dental insurance after 60 days. And most importantly, we realize that peak performers and staffing companies may only be a stepping stone into your further career ambitions. And each year, about 1/3 of our staff are hired from us by our clients, and they oftentimes use us as kind of a try before they hire sort of situation, if you will, where they'll try out various different candidates and then eventually go on and hire them on to work for the agencies themselves. The number one thing is that if you are a job seeker and this sounds like it would be your jam, like you would definitely enjoy doing something like this, what you can do is you can go to our website, peakperformers.org, and from there, we just ask that you upload your resume. You don't have to send us a state application or anything like that. Just simply upload your resume through that website. You can either apply for a current open position, or what you can also do is you can click to, quote, join our talent pool. And what that means is that's your way of indicating to us, hey, I am open for multiple different future opportunities as they become available, and I am flexible and I'm ready to work and whatnot. We do post as well. I would kind of make a note around COVID-19. We have a collection of people that are working both physically on site and people that are working from home too. This is really a case-by-case basis, both based on the job and the individual agency and exactly how viable it is for them to have people working on site versus remotely. We do try to post that information along with pay details, along with work location, and all those other various different kinds of things as well. Additionally, I would kind of point out too that if you are somebody with a motor disability, for example, you use a wheelchair to get around, we specifically actually do a lot of questions and answers with you during the recruiting process to see what kinds of needs you may have. And that way we kind of place you within an agency that might be located along a major bus route. This is only kind of the start of it, and we actually spend a lot of time talking with you about what reasonable accommodations, if any, you may require for your job. And then we help step in kind of in that uncomfortable position and sometimes provide those accommodations for you, or sometimes help facilitate that kind of uncomfortable conversation that many of you may have faced during an employment situation where you're like, hey, I'm not sure how to bring this up to my employer, but I could really use this in order to be more successful. That's where we step in and really kind of help have those conversations for you. So anyway, again, my name is Myles. I really hope that you guys connect with me. My LinkedIn information is down at the bottom of the screen right here. I am the Strategic Partnerships Specialist for Peak Performers, and I'm always here and happy to help out. thank you so much for your time, and thank you very much for having me here on this call.
Thank you, Myles. That is just awesome work that y'all do there at Peak Performers. Next up, we have Elizabeth Kendell from HEB. So she will also be presenting on employment opportunities. Take it away, Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Roger and Amerigroup and everyone with the UT Center for Disability Studies for putting this on. This is a wonderful event, as was last year's. So I have the privilege of making sure that HEB is a disability friendly and disability ready workplace. And there's always room for improvement. So we are just trucking away on this path. Next slide, please. But this is what our focus is right now. We really see ourselves as a team at HEB to make the lives of all Texans with disabilities better. And our focus has been on providing opportunities and removing barriers for our employees with disabilities. We have focused on recruiting efforts, also retention and general accessibility. So I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about that. If you're a job seeker or you work with people who are job seekers, this is going to be some good information if anyone is interested in applying for a job at HEB. Next slide. Thank you. So the majority of our work is in our stores. We have close to 400 stores across the state of Texas. And so, and that is where we have the biggest variety of our jobs. There's a few things that have made our program really successful over the last year and a half. The biggest one is our community partners. With a lot of you guys on here today, we're able to create that awareness. It's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, yay! And we are taking the opportunity to work with our community partners, our state agencies, our nonprofit partners, to spread the word that we are encouraging disclosure of disabilities when you apply for a job at HEB. We're making space for that discussion about accommodations and to explore how different jobs can be done. So another thing that we're doing is trying to really educate our referral partners. So people who work really closely with job seekers, counselors, job coaches, teachers, advocates, about the different career opportunities at HEB. And I have a lot more information about that. I'm not going to go into full details today, but we are trying to really increase the awareness on the variety of jobs and the types of jobs and what each of those jobs entails. Another thing that we've implemented is the Disability Bridges referral process. So if a job applicant wants to disclose a disability, and whether an accommodation is needed or not, we have a referral process that goes straight to our team, and we help advocate on the inside of HEB to see what we can do. Another big thing that's a part of that is our what we call our candidate accommodations. Sorry, too much coffee this morning. Our accommodations process during the application, during the interview, during onboarding, even before you're submitting an application. If you have an accommodation request related to a disability, it will come directly to the Disability Bridges team, and we can make space to talk about that and figure out how we can make everything work. And like I mentioned, internal advocacy is huge. We love to share stories. If someone has a story about their background and they're coming in and why they want a job at HEB and why it's so important. And we do that from a disability perspective. Next slide. So this is really surface level, high level example career paths in our stores. When you go to our website to see our different jobs, our entry-level positions are going to be our baggers and our checkers. Now, the baggers are going to be called CSAs, customer service attendants. and our checkers are our cashiers. Both of those jobs, you can be hired at 16 or 17 years of age. All of the other jobs in the store will start at a minimum age of 18 years old. Some other entry-level positions are our food service reps. You'll see those in the bakery, in the deli, in the meat market. And then we also have, as most everyone knows, like curbside and delivery. So we have a position that's an in-store shopper that supports our curbside and delivery orders. That's great if you are really efficient at grocery shopping and enjoy it. Our mid-level positions are usually going to be called specialists. So it might be a food service specialist. Supervisor level is usually going to have the word lead, assistant manager in there. And then our manager level positions are going to be like a department manager, manager in charge. Our top store leaderships, you have a lot of experience in retail. Those are going to be assistant store directors. We also call them unit directors, general directors. It depends on what city you're in, how big the store is. They're called different things. We can move on to the next slide. This is what you'll see when you go to our online site to apply for jobs. And everyone, regardless of disability or not, is asked to start with the online application. We do not have a separate application for our job applicants with disabilities, but we are able to offer accommodations. And so you'll see this when you click on store opportunities, you'll see these two options pop up, our hourly jobs and then our manager jobs. And you can see down here that most of the hourly jobs are part-time, ranging from 8 to 35 hours a week. There are some exceptions in West Texas, just so you know. We can move on to the next slide. So again, just a quick review of some of our most common jobs that you'll see on the website. And just so you know, the jobs are posted on a daily basis. So if you have a specific store in mind, I encourage you to keep checking back every single day and filtering for that store. If you have a specific position in mind, I encourage you to continue to look until that position shows up. And you can also filter by, maybe the 3 or 4 stores that you're open to working to. So like I talked about, our front end, what we call it, has the bagger and cashier positions. We can go to the next slide. We have day stalkers. We also have night stalkers. It's important to keep in mind that these are very physical jobs, thinking about stocking cases of water, 12 packs of soda, dog food. These are very on your feet, active, moving around jobs. Our night stalkers are great if you're used to working overnight. We definitely like that experience of someone who's worked overnight before, possibly doing heavy labor, warehouse work. That's all really great experience for an overnight stalker. Next slide. I mentioned our food service reps earlier. If you enjoy working around food, but also supporting customers, these are some great options. Keep in mind that all of these areas do require like different, equipment, using different equipment, wearing hairnets, wearing food prep equipment, apparel. I can't think of the word right now, gloves and aprons. And also you're around heat and cold, walking into freezers, being around stoves. So keep that in mind with these positions. One more I'll tell you about. Next slide. So what we call our janitorial, our cleaning crews, our total store sanitation. You might see the job posted as TSST, Total Store Sanitation Team. You might also just see a sanitation representative or total store or floor care. These positions are great if you are okay working on your own. If you think about like clean up on aisle 10, that's where one of these partners is standing by to be ready to clean up. So they're not exactly working on a team, they're more independent, but a great job if you like not as much customer interaction with, being a cashier or a bagger, but you're still okay walking around the store and you like that independent kind of work. Next slide. Just showing you lots of different positions. And we'll move on to the next slide. I want to tell you all about one other exciting thing we're doing at our corporate offices. So I am in San Antonio out of our corporate office, and we are piloting a neurodivergent internship program for summer of 2021. And applications will be live very soon, starting November 1st for this position. And we are looking for bachelor's or master's students or people who have recently graduated in the last year from those programs. I'm specifically looking for candidates who are getting a degree in computer science, information systems, with like a minor in computer science, or even engineering with a minor in computer science. So there will be more information coming about that. But of course, you can, I think our contact information will be shared after this. So anyone is welcome to email me about any of this. My final slide before I wrap up here, please. Okay, so this is our referral process. Basically, the lowdown on what to expect when you apply at HEB, and then how to make sure and get in touch with the Disability Bridges team too. Like I said in the first box, everyone is asked to do the application online. After that, you're going to get an email that says you have submitted your application. This is important. If you don't get that email, then something went wrong. Go back into your profile and make sure that something is submitted. Also, check your spam email inbox. This email should come immediately after you submit an application. Right after that email, you'll get another one inviting you to what's called a digital video interview. Again, if you don't receive that invitation immediately after you submit, if you don't receive that email immediately after you submit your application, check your spam. And after you log in and do your digital video interview, which is a recording of you answering questions, there is an option to check a need accommodations box, which slows down the time constraints on that video interview. I highly recommend that. After you complete that, again, you should send another email that says you have completed your digital video interview. Thank you, and wait to hear back from us. If you have a disability and you want to share that, I highly encourage you to email bridges@heb.com. That's BRIDGES@heb.com. And that goes to my team. And if you have an accommodation, we can talk about it there and do that process. Or if you just want to disclose a disability, if there's any information you want the hiring managers to know, we can work with that. So that concludes my slides. Thank you, everyone. And I look forward to hearing from some of you.
Great. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. It looks like we have some time. Roger, do we have time to do some Q&A?
Sure. Yeah, I know there was some questions that came in. Yeah, we'll have about 10 minutes and then I'll close it up at the end.
Sounds good. Kate, are we able to unmute an attendee? I see a raised hand, and it's Julio. I'm going to butcher the last name. Solisi Milan. Is there a way to unmute? Or Julio, if you can type in the chat in the Q&A box, that would be great. Another question that we have is in the Q&A box. It is for Elizabeth Kendell. How much does HEB start off at its pay rate?
That is a good question. I'm actually messaging a colleague to know for sure because I don't want to give you the wrong answer. And I believe we recently switched. So the entry level position would be the bagger position, which is a CSA. Don't quote me on this, but I want to say it's around $950 maybe. And I will hopefully get a final answer and can put that in the chat in the next few minutes.
Excellent, thank you. I don't see any other chats, but I can give a quick recap of what folks have talked about, and that might trigger some more questions. So again, you can type your questions in the chat box or in the Q&A box. Either one would work for us. We also have all the resources and the recordings that we will follow up in an email in the future. But just to quickly recap what we've heard, all the amazing resources, we've heard of employment guides and employment first information and trainings on employment services by HHSC. We've talked about work incentives to ensure that we can keep our Medicare with Disability Rights Texas. We talked about integrating into competitive employment with peak performers, and also HEB's amazing disability and advocacy program where they encourage disability disclosure and have programs set in place to help folks interested in working at HEB. We have a question from Andrew asking, will you be doing this annually? It is a goal, right, Roger? Anything you want to add to that about this Diversify Austin event?
Yes, so we do have plans to do this annually. Hopefully next year, like I said, we hope this is our second annual. So we want to do it next year live in person, if it permits, if we can. So, but that's our plan. Yes.
Excellent. We're getting some more questions in. So another question from an attendee, where can we find information on the rule changes going into effect in March 2021 about integrated settings? That might be a question for Jonathan with Employment First, or Marc.
Actually, Marc Mullins would probably be the person representing HHSC. Is he still on the line?
I'm not totally sure. I would expect that you would want to just keep looking at the HHS website under announcements on the front page, and it would tell you about upcoming rule changes. So that would be where I would start looking.
That is a good question. Yeah, that's something that I know the state is getting ready for those changes. And yeah, it's all because of the American Disabilities Act. We have to be compliant, and it's the right thing to do.
Yes, certainly. The next question we have from Kay is for Elizabeth Kendell. Does HEB make allowances for job coaches to be with an employee on the job?
Great question. And yes, absolutely. We do have job coaches who attend interviews, who are welcome to attend the onboarding process and the training process, doing on-the-job training. Also, during a transition, I see that often if someone is transitioning to a new role or even getting different or new tasks assigned to them, then a job coach, they can have their job coach come in. Yep, and I did receive confirmation on the starting pay for a bagger is $9.50, and then our cashiers start at $13.50 an hour.
Excellent, thank you, Elizabeth. I think that's all we have time for, but our contact information is going to be provided along with this recording and the resources. Roger, feel free to close it off for us.
Sure. Thanks, Jigna. Like Jigna said, we'll be sending, this PowerPoint to everyone that has attended this event. You'll also be getting our contact information just in case you forgot to ask a question. Feel free to email us or give us a call. Actually, it's an email. So we're ready to assist you with whatever needs you have. But I'll go ahead and close this off. First of all, we just want to thank our partners, as this event would not be possible without them. The Center for Disability Studies at the University of Texas at Austin, great partner. This is our second run doing this, and next year we'll do a live, hopefully. If not, we'll do it virtually. Texas Health and Human Services Commission, thank you very much as well. Employment First, that is a very important topic. I remember going through my service coordination days. that was something that I kept on hearing, and a lot of our members or clients wanted to participate in that. So great information there. Of course, Disability Rights Texas. Gosh, I remember a lot of my families that I would visit during case management that would always think about, well, if I work too much, will I lose my Medicaid? I didn't know that information. Now I do. Thank you for providing this information. We look forward to, using your resources in the future again. Peak performers, I met Mr. Wallace at a Region 2, I believe, or Region 13, I can't remember, at a job fair as well. So thank you for participating. You do a lot of great work. Of course, HEB, this is their second time. Thank you, Elizabeth, for participating. Again, we'll send out that information. Please visit their websites for their valuable information. Again, thank you, partners. So like I mentioned last year, this was an in-person event. So, but today we decided to overcome the COVID pandemic barrier and hosting it through a webinar. So when it comes to social determinants of health, Amerigroup is knocking down the economic stability barrier towards independence. So in the same fashion, Amerigroup has decided to bring employment opportunities and resources to the community as we're doing today. So we've been committed in bringing healthcare access as well and resources during this pandemic to our community through telehealth services. We've also touched on, other webinars on isolation during this pandemic, and that has some ill effects. And we also did thousands of outreach calls to our members just to make sure that they have healthcare access to take care of themselves. So, once again, we want to make sure that you're taking care of yourselves. Take a walk, get some socialization out there. Call friends, call your family. You need to talk to people if you feel down. This is going to affect everyone. Exercise, sometimes media exhaustion. Put down your screen, your tablet, take some time off, walk around the home, outside, that could really wear you out as well. Take mental breaks, as we may say, COVID may have disrupted our lifestyle, but it will not disrupt our lives. So we're going to continue through. Again, thank you. We have plans to make this event bigger and more accessible to everyone. We hope to see you next year. Thank you everyone for attending. Stay safe and hope to see you again next year in person. See you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.